What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Trading Live with Bubba. And what a wild day it's been so far. Kind of unusual on a Memorial Day holiday, especially coming off the thin volume from the last couple of days. But suddenly we've got a little action here in the markets, and you had NVIDIA's earnings come out yesterday, and of course they exploded higher. The stock is up within range, and as we said, that the markets, the options would probably collapse, which they did. But now, as you're looking at NVIDIA, okay, this is one you may want to look at. And again, it's a riskier trade, but you may want to look at selling some call spreads in here, just because, again, we've had a pretty major move, pretty much overbought, all-time new high, and probably an opportunity to sell some call spreads in here for next week. I wouldn't necessarily do them for tomorrow. I'd like to see it trade out, and I would expect you have a short week coming up because of the holiday. So I'd look for an opportunity there. But if we go back to what's going on right now, is there anything to do right now? And there's a couple of things that are very close, but typically in a holiday type setting, I'm not going to be as anxious to jump into trades here. Again, it's very slow, and you can see it's very whippy, and there's a lot of swing, which is we call it the vacuum effect in trading, because there's very little participation, and then suddenly you get some orders come in and they push markets much farther. But right now there isn't anything for us to do at the moment, so we'll see and come back to this in a minute. We'll go back to our normal view. Apple, as we said the other day, you might want to sell some call spreads up here, because we were overbought, and certainly we did get a little bit of a pullback. Amazon is still very much sideways. Virtually nothing to do here. Again, you have to remember that if there's not opportunity, okay, and the markets aren't showing you opportunity, why would you want to get involved? I think it's important to understand that we can't nor want to get involved in every single move, because it's too hard to judge. Right now you're at a coin flip. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? So again, I ask, why would you want to trade in there? Coin came from that oversold. We got to overbought. And now we're coming back down again. So again, you can see the consistency in the way that we look at trades. Again, I don't care what coin does. All I care about is what the chart pattern is. Okay. And the chart pattern is pretty dominant as to telling you what should happen, where we should go, and what we should be looking for. So right now we're back in the middle of basically nowhere again. So there's really not much to do. If you didn't make a trade earlier, there wouldn't be much to do here right now. You'd be sitting on the sidelines waiting. Meta, same as Amazon, right in the middle. There's really nothing to do. Okay, and again, you have to. The psychology of trading is you have to be willing to do nothing. Okay. Making the decision not to make a trade is the same as making a trade. Okay. You do not have to be participating ever if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel good about the trade, if you don't feel good about the price action, don't trade. Okay. Remember, the markets are open 241 days a year. We don't have to trade any particular day that we don't want to trade. But certainly you don't want to get yourself involved in markets. Now, again, Tuesday we said, look to sell call spreads in Google. And there it is. Okay, right there. And we're coming back off it. Now, again, it still may go up. Again, this is not a guaranteed win. It's not a guaranteed win until you cash the trade. Okay, until you close a trade, there is no guarantees. Okay, but it's certainly you're on the right track. And based on the action that we're watching, again, it should be in pretty good shape. IWM, again, we're back down into this, you're on TV, we're back down to this mean, right? Okay. We never really got to where we wanted to sell it. We're now back at the mean. Again, not much action, not much to trade right here. Moderna, as we said, wait till this blow off continues. And again, you had a chance. And again, this would not be as clear as I would make it. So, if you didn't look at this, but certainly this particular action with this big spike in volume would have been a sale up in here somewhere. Microsoft, which we did sell together when we were here, and we're doing just fine because we sold the 432.50, 435, and we're at 431. Now, again, it could go to 435 by tomorrow. I mean, again, this is nothing that we do is a guarantee. Everything we do is based on the probability of the market. Okay. And I just want to go back here and see if there's anything going on so we don't miss out on a potential trade if something shows up. The crude oil is a potential, but again, I'd like to see it get a follow through here. Again, you got a lot of things that are very close. And one thing I've learned that when the overall conditions are not that great, I'm not looking for things that are very close. I'm looking for things that are going to give me a much higher probability. So Microsoft is still, it's something to play, but we've already taken out a pretty big credit. I mean, we took out a dollar credit on a 250 risk, so it's 40%. NVIDIA, which we looked at earlier, again, it's spiking higher. Certainly, I did personally. I'll give you full disclosure. I sold some call spreads this morning. Okay, I sold the 435. Excuse me, the 1035, 1045 for $5.50. Okay, again, to me, all it's got to do is go back below 1035 by next Friday, and I don't think that'll be much of a problem. The Qs finally reached the target that we're looking for, 460. Okay, so that was an opportunity. If you were watching, and if these are the types of trades you're making, that is the opportunity that you would take advantage of. Again, you have a high expected win rate if you wait for those levels to occur. Okay, again, as I said, nothing is guaranteed, but you have a high expectation of a win rate. Okay, and that's all we can do is play probability. I'm just taking back a look here. I want to see what's going on in crude here. See if we can get another bounce, and potentially even in the Russell here. So let's just watch here for a minute. Again, I'd like to see the volume pop up to here on the Russell. I'd like to see the volume pop up to here on the S&P. Okay, and I'd like to see the volume pop up to here on the crude. Those would be the three that I would be looking at right here at the moment. We'll see. Again, they may get there, they may not get there. And if they don't get there, if you always remember, we're playing on the emotions of others. Okay, that's what the whole trade is based on. You're picking on the emotional people that chase the markets either up or down, that create these volume moves, the tap on the shoulder. And for those who are unaware, what that is when you're a professional trader and your position gets too big, the clearinghouse or the brokerage firm says, are you going to take that position off, or are we going to take it off for you? And then, of course, they force you to get out right away with price and time being nothing but meaningless. So again, it's something that you want to look at and recognize, and we're not seeing. So we did not reach any of those levels. So at this point in time, I'm not interested in getting involved because I don't see the opportunity. If we're really busy, I can become more flexible. But right now we're not very busy, so I'm not interested in taking and trying to move. Okay. As we look at Square, I would certainly look, if we got down, right around here, maybe even 65, but I would certainly look to sell put spreads that expire tomorrow. Okay, that would be what I'd be looking for. I'd be playing this as a one-day trade. Okay, because I would expect it to hold or at least a little bit of a bounce. Okay. The SPY, again, didn't quite reach up to where we exactly wanted to get to. So really not much to do. Again, remember, it's better to pass than to put on a bad trade. Okay. And I don't see the overwhelming probability here that says I'm going to be able to do well here. In Tesla, we're just churning once again. We made one pop up, but really nothing to do. Win, really nothing to do. Zoom, as we said the other day, sell call spreads. Okay, so again, we put ourselves in a position to make some money. Okay, again, the trade's not over yet. We didn't cash it, but we certainly have a big lead right now. Okay, so basically on the trades we looked at, we're doing pretty well as an overall being. But again, it's because you have the patience to be willing to wait. Okay, you have the opportunity to wait for the opportunities to come to you, not force the opportunity. That is always about the psychology. Remember, you are your own worst enemy. Okay, all of us are. So whenever you start making bad trades, it's best to walk away, take a look in the mirror. Okay. In the meantime, you may have something coming here in the NASDAQ. I want to see the volume pop up to here. Okay. And of course, the price has to continue to go. The Russell is spiking up once again, as is the S&P. So we know where we want those volumes to go to. Okay, because these trades that we're looking at now on this very short-term futures market are based on price and time. So we need a price spike or a tank, spike up or spike down, and that has to be coupled with heavy volume. Okay, because that is the indication that somebody is panicking or puking or getting out. Okay, or chasing it up. Whichever way they're doing, we want to be on the opposite side. Okay, so we'll see if we can get, we've got a minute to go on this bar. Again, I'm watching 4-minute charts if you're wondering. This works on any time frame, but of course, the shorter the time frame, the more potential trades you can create. And that's another thing that you have to look at depending on your schedule. If you're trying to trade full time or you're trying to trade part-time. I mean, this is a great part-time trading method because it has no effect on what's happened in the past. All you care about is what is the volume behind and what has the market done. What the market's done is immaterial, but of course we're concerned about the spike in volume. And I always say, if you look at the last 5 bars, okay, so we're in position potentially in the NASDAQ, okay, to put a trade on, and really nowhere else. Okay, so we have to wait for this bar to close, but you can see it reached my target of volume. So now I'm going to just switch over and take a look, okay, on the 1 minute, because the 4 minute is the trade that how I identify the trade I want to make. The 1 minute is what I use for the trigger. So I need a red bar starting now, okay, that has to close red. Okay, and I know my stop's going to be in the NASDAQ. I use 25 ticks. So my stop's going to be at 189.93, 189.93. Excuse me, 189.23. Excuse me, off by a little bit. 189.23. Okay, and we'll see if it goes. And of course, one of the things you do have to watch for and pay attention to is the amount of risk that is on that trade, and you have to be comfortable with the risk you're taking, which is why I encourage many of you, if you're new or you're trying this out, use the micros. Okay, and I prefer if you trade 2 micros or more, because I want you to be able to exit one if given the opportunity, so it changes the dynamics of the trade and how you get the work to trade. Okay. In the meantime, so we can take the trade here. All right, so I'm in. Okay, I got to put my stop in. Okay, and get that done. All right, and now I can look and see about my exit. Now, my first exit, I'd like to get about 5 points, okay, from below, and then I got 4 on, so I'm going to work 1 at 5 ticks below and 1 at 10 to get part off, and hopefully be able to lock up a profit and go to a break-even stop here. Okay, and again, it's the action is not what I'd like. These trades should be more instantaneous, but again, we're fine. We're in the game. Okay, and I have my stop, and I'm not going to adjust my stop until I can lock in some profit. What's going on in crude oil? Is there going to be? Oh, no, I don't want that. I want the 4 minute. That's what I want. Okay. So crude may be coming to a trade here right now. We'll see. Okay. Again, it's got to reach my volume target, which it probably will reach it easily based on what I'm watching. And again, we're still in our NASDAQ, which is slightly profitable at the minute. Now, again, I'm not in a hurry to take the profit. I want to try to let the trade work, and I want to try to get to the point where I can get it. Okay. Now, again, don't ever look back. As long as you have it somewhat of a mechanical method as to how you want to trade it, okay, then you have to follow those rules. Remember, every trade you make should have a plan that goes along with it. Okay. Every style you're using, if it's short-term trading, day trading, everything requires a plan. Okay. Okay, so in the meantime, right now we're still about even on our one trade that's open, and now we're going to get another trade. Okay, in crude. Okay, so all right, so now crude is going to give us a trade. Okay, we're still in our NASDAQ trade. Now we're going to take a look at crude. Okay, and the NASDAQ is fine. I mean, it's not giving us the big profit. Okay, it's not losing anything. It's just kind of hanging out right now. So we have to wait and let that trade. Now we're going to look at crude. Okay, and we'll see if it gives us an opportunity. Okay, so we're waiting for a green bar here to show up. Okay, and let's just go back and see if anything else is doing. Okay, so that we got nothing in gold, nothing in the notes. Okay, so the only thing we have on is our open trade and a potential trade in crude. And right now, our stop in crude would be 76.54. But that could be going lower because with every tick we go lower from here, that'll change the stop. Okay, and we're still waiting for a green bar here to get to the long side of this. And again, I don't like what's going on here. It's not going to change. I'm not getting out. I'm not changing my position. But again, this should be a much faster reaction. It should have come down, much faster, because if we're reading it right, okay, and it's going to work right, typically they work at a much faster pace. Okay. But again, we're right around even. So it's not like it's a disaster, but it's now starting to build this overbought condition that we sold into off of there. Okay, is now resolving itself by consolidating. Okay, so now it's changing. This blow off that we were trading off of is resolving itself through a consolidation pattern. So it now changes the dynamics of the trade. So nothing I'm going to do about it right now, but if we get to a point to be able to do something, I will tell you what we're going to do. Okay, we have a profit in this trade now. Okay, and it's too close to tell you to put a stop in right now, so we're gonna let it trade for a while. But if you do get 4 or 5 ticks profit in it, go ahead and put your stop at break even. Because now the dynamics of the trade for the reason we made it have changed. Okay, that's just that simple. Okay, the reason that we made the trade has changed now. It is no longer, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let it trade because I should be able to still get an opportunity to get out at worst at break even. And of course, the crude trade is still not giving us anything. So basically, we're still waiting, and we'll see what happens here. Okay, crude has got to be no trade yet. Okay, no trade yet. So most likely, we won't make the trade because it's going to come right as we finish off. I will call it out to you if you're comfortable with it. I'll give you the stop, but more than likely, we probably won't make it official because again, I won't be here to help you manage it. But we'll see. I'm gonna stay with you until this last minute and to see before I say goodbye. And now you have a chance to go ahead and get break even on your NASDAQ. So go ahead and put break even stop on your NASDAQ so you can get out. You can leave the stop and let it run if it goes in your favor. There's no reason to do anything else, but we certainly don't want it to be. We don't want it to turn into a loss. Okay, that's the bottom line. Okay, now we've got it. did what it did. And of course, now our crude trade, okay, is crude is a trade if you want to take it. Okay. And then I'll give you the stop before we go. And the stop in crude is going to be 76.54. Okay. 76.54. And you should be able to get one off right here at plus 10 ticks. Okay. So put a stop at break even. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. I'll see you all back on Tuesday. Thanks so much. We'll see you later, everybody.
All opinions expressed by Tradier Hub contributors are solely the contributors' opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Tradier nor its affiliates and or subsidiaries. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Hub contributors as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or to follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. The contributors' opinions are based on their own personal research, but neither Tradier nor its affiliates and or subsidiaries warrants its completeness or accuracy, and it should not be relied upon as such. Any trades or positions discussed or referred to by contributors may or may not be actual live trades or positions. Such information is not intended to be financial or investment advice. Tradier Inc. is the parent company of Tradier Brokerage Inc. Tradier Brokerage Inc. and Tradier Inc. are separate entities with their own products and services. Securities products and services are offered through Tradier Brokerage Inc. Tradier Brokerage Inc. is an independent subsidiary of Tradier Inc. All rights reserved. Member FINRA SIPC.